Duluth Brewing Malting was one of that next generation where they had a big plan in place and they needed to start relatively big if they had any hope of competing against the shipping brewers.
When you look at pictures of the structure, I mean, it certainly is imposing, and I mean, I think they were trying to make a statement that this is going to be a big brewery. I mean, when it first opened, the capacity, I believe, was about 40,000 barrels. You know, initially, not that big, but it did grow.
They were able to hire architects from Chicago and build in a classic Romanesque revival style that really gave the impression of being a classic German structure, and one that was tall and impressive in an era where people often decided how valuable a product was based on how impressive the factory was.
It was started by Rainer Hoch and Charles Meske. Hoch decided to come to Duluth and start another brewery, sensing that there was opportunity here.
It was pretty well laid out, quite a big area. I mean, two sides of the street, you had the brewing house and the malting house all down in one big, huge building with the railroad tracks coming up behind it. They used for service and bringing grain in or hauling out kegs of beer.
Where the freeway is, you can see the old office, and then the bottling houses that connected to it. That was the first building you come to.
In a lot of cases, the breweries would use the factory scene either on large lithographs, which were to be placed in the taverns. It would appear on their letterhead. They would print up postcards, and most of the time you'd have a couple of interesting features. One of them would be that any vehicles would be very small to make the brewery itself look enormous. And the other thing, in all of the cityscapes and factory scenes of the Gilded Age, was that the smokestacks were constantly belching big clouds of black smoke, which today we would consider a problem, but in that era it was a sign of prosperity, employment, and wealth coming into the city.